What's up, guys? It's Russo and Jordy with Backdoor Fantasy Sports, and we've got some plays for the Monday Night Football game, the New York Jets versus the San Francisco 49ers. We are both a little exhausted coming off of our first Sunday of football and had a blast, but man, that was a long day. We hope you guys did well on your picks in your fantasy leagues. Let us know how week one went for you. My fantasy day for our fantasy football stuff went pretty good. My most important leagues, I got some serious dubs in, so pretty pumped about that. But yeah, we've got 4 plays for you. Before we get into those, though, Underdog is still running all sorts of crazy deals. I think they might go a little bit further than tomorrow, but I know they're going to be dropping another promo tomorrow. So if you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, now's the perfect time. They're going to give you a free pick in addition to the promos when you sign up using code BACKDOOR or go through the link in the description. They're going to give you a free pick, and they're going to give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash just for signing up. So go take advantage of those deals for sure. And if you haven't signed up for Prize Picks yet, just use the promo code at the bottom of the screen. They will hook you up as well. But yeah, let's talk about the plays that we're going to be getting into for tomorrow. We had an okay night. The props that didn't hit from our 6-man, it was unfortunate. Jaylen Warren, Arthur Smith, gave Cordero Patterson some run, which we didn't really see coming. Maybe we should have with Jaylen Warren kind of like seeming like he was 100%, but he was nursing a little bit of a minor injury earlier in the week. But all beat reporters, everyone was talking about like a 50-50 timeshare. That's what we thought we were going to see. But then, maybe something to do with easing Jaylen Warren back in. You just never know. It's Arthur Smith. But
yeah, it was a hard one. Like, I was originally going to go with the receiving score or just the receiving yards, and then I switched to the receiving and rushing. Honestly, like, he should have had the opportunities. Cordero Patterson is super old, and he shouldn't have never got that many opportunities. And it was just a weird game. I was right about the Steelers winning that game, but
yeah,
so I'm a toot my own horn there. But
you disagreed, but yep, you got it right.
But yeah, I mean, the other one, DeAndre Swift, I just don't like what I see from DeAndre Swift, honestly. Like, I thought Caleb Williams, played pretty poorly, honestly. Like, he didn't play bad, he didn't turn the ball over, but the whole offense just was not clicking at all. So he only targeted him like one time. So it was just a bad call to even take that play. 2 of the other plays that I liked originally that I was going to go with, I talked myself out of, and I took the wrong plays, and those plays ended up hitting. So that was just my bad. We'll definitely get it on the straight and narrow here, but yeah, I feel good about the 4 we have tonight for sure.
Yeah. All things being said, I was pretty stoked on all 3 of my picks cashing. Connor cashed immediately first quarter. Josh Allen, I think, cashed first quarter. And then Devon Achane, that was just like a gimme. Like I had said, he could break that off in like one play. So he ended up cashing, had a good day. It was a very exciting day of football. So fun to see what all of these new look offenses are looking like and whatnot. But let's get into this game because this is the last game of the week. Also very excited. We kind of know what these offenses should look like, but we just, we haven't gotten to see the Jets get unlocked by Aaron Rodgers yet. So fingers crossed. We're hoping he stays healthy all year. So let's talk about it. My 2 plays I'm getting on Prize Picks and Underdog. I'm going with Breece Hall's fantasy score. I love this for a lot of the same reasons. I loved James Conner's fantasy score. I just want a little bit of everything with elite talent like Breece Hall. So I'm going to be taking it over 15.5. I think it's somewhere in the 14s on Underdog. I can just double check here. Underdog, the reason it's a little different is because they're half point PPR and Prize Picks is full point PPR. So that's the only reason that line's a little bit lower. So it's essentially kind of the same line. It's just accounting for receptions being lower scoring. So yeah, 14.55 on Underdog. I'll take that higher all day. And then Debo Samuel is my other play. I love this rushing and receiving combo. 63.5. I'm going to be taking that for more. And then on underdog, they're giving it to us at 65.5. It's not enough for me to shy away from it. So go with your gut, but I still like the 65.5. I think he's going to be somewhere up in the 70s plus. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, I'm taking Mike Williams for over 2.5 receptions for the Jets, and then I'm taking Brandon Ayuk for the Niners over 49.5 receiving yards on Prize Picks, and we're actually getting it at 48.5 on underdog. I think he'll crush both, but it's nice to get, a 1 yard discount, I guess.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I feel good about all 4 of these plays we got locked in. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is our picks show. We also have a fantasy football show on Tuesday. What is it? Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I believe, is our schedule. So we'll be dropping a waiver wire video for fantasy football on Tuesday. But yeah, let's talk about these plays. So Breece Hall here. He got really hot at the end of the year. They were in, honestly, it was kind of a weird year for the Jets. Obviously, they had the quarterback carousel going on. They were like really weren't getting much of their identity at the beginning of the year. They were also planning on easing Breece Hall in, and you could just see the frustration with him because they wanted to be careful with him coming off that injury. But they brought in Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin Cook just did nothing, just like he's going to do with the Cowboys, in my opinion. But we'll see. But anyways, my point is that's the slow start for Breece Hall back last year. But you can see what he's capable of. He went crazy in this backstretch of his last 10. And it was against defenses that are pretty solid. 26.6 fantasy points against Houston. 43 against Washington, 27 against Cleveland, and then 29 against New England. That's all pretty reasonably stout defenses. When we look at the rushing and receiving matchup here, it's pretty solid. As far as specifically to running backs, we've got second in rushing yards allowed. We know San Francisco is a tough defense. They're stacked. But they actually are 26th in receiving yards allowed to running backs. We know Breece Hall is an excellent pass catcher. He's just a freak of an athlete. Very, very good with yards after contact, yards after the catch. So I think that we've seen many times before Breece Hall just takes one into the house for like 98 yards. We've seen him go end zone to end zone. So I'm expecting at least one pretty solid explosive play from him. I was originally looking at his rushing and receiving yards, but I decided I just want the whole fantasy score because then on Prize Picks, I'm getting a full point for every catch. On underdog, you're getting a half point. But then if he happens to get in the end zone, that's just about halfway there for us. So if he gets in the end zone, it's over. He's going to be crushing this line. But I think he can get that. I think he can get this with or without a touchdown. So I just want the full fantasy score. Give me all of it. If we take a look at Daily Grind for this play, they do have that rushing and receiving as his top play if you're more comfortable with that. I do still like that. 92.5 though. he could do that on rushing alone. He could do that on receiving alone. I know the rushing, it's a little bit more likely, but having those combined, that's still a great play. If you're more comfortable with that, you could take that. It's at a 52.09% odds to hit the over, -129. And you can see a lot of these other platforms already have that bumped all the way up to 95.5. So you are getting a little bit of a discount on Prize Picks. But just give me the full fantasy score because I want that touchdown attached. It's only at 15.5 on Prize Picks with full point PPR, 51.31% odds to hit the over, -105 on the Daily Grind odds. It's always a little bit different with the way Daily Grind goes with their fantasy score, but I'm feeling really good about this play. If you guys do want to check out this optimizer, this company Daily Grind, their AI slip generator has been crushing it. This is the DFS optimizer that I'm on right now. We just love this for searching out plays, but also vetting our plays and then just taking a look at what platform are we on? What are other platforms giving us this line at? What are the odds across the board? It just gives you all the information. You can get 25% off when you use code BACKDOOR at dgfantasy.com if you want to lock this in for the whole football season or for stretch it out for basketball too. It's killer for basketball. It's killer for football too, but man, when basketball comes around, it's so fun just hopping on the optimizer and seeing everything that's like the discrepancies between what's on the platform you're on and can you get it for a cheaper line on a different platform. It just does all the work for you. So yeah, 25% off. Lock it in as long as you want. They'll let you lock that in for up to a year if you want to. So yeah, take advantage of that. There's a link in the description of the video. Code backdoor at dgfantasy.com. Let's talk about Deebo. I do love this rushing and receiving line because he actually does. He doesn't get like as much run out of the backfield as he did that one year where he popped off and was crazy for fantasy, but they still utilize him in that way. And he's also a great contested catch wide receiver. And and I think that, the sort of recipe has been like Christian McCaffrey gets all this attention. If they let Ayuk go crazy downfield, he's a threat. You've got George Kittle. And so it's like you can't cover all these guys, but Deebo is one of their guys. Kyle Shanahan loves him. That's why he gets some runs out of the backfield as well. If we take a look at the matchup here against wide receivers, the Jets are 18th in rushing yards allowed to wide receivers. Surprisingly, the Jets do have a great defense. They're not totally at 100% right now. They're number 1 in receiving yards allowed. We know their secondary is just stout, but Deebo is a grinder, and he's going to be seeing probably a couple looks downfield. He'll see some like shorter passes where they just rely on him. Like he is a yards after the catch monster. I'm pretty sure last year he was like maybe best in the league, or the year before that. But if you've watched Deebo Samuel, you know how gritty he is. So I think this line's just too low. He could break this off on one play. I know I say that a lot, but that's because that's the kind of plays I target. I want something that is just like, if he can get it on volume, great, but I want something that has a chance of cashing on like a couple of plays. And so that's why I feel good about this Deebo Samuel play. If we take a look at the optimizer, they do have this as the best play for Deebo on Prize Picks, 52% odds to hit the over, -129. And just the same situation here, 63.5 on Prize Picks, but FanDuel has it up at 67.5 already, DraftKings 64.5. And they've got that at a 50-50 shot up at those higher lines. Underdog does have it at 65.5 is what we're getting, and they're favoring it to go over on Underdog, -122. So I'm feeling good about this across the board. I love these types of plays. If you guys want to check out this app Outlier, this is what we use to just vet our plays, dig into the details before you make a decision about a play. And obviously there's a little bit of news up top here about Ricky Pearsall, but we already know that he got shot, and it's going to affect a little bit of the wide receiver rotation there. But Deebo was never a threat to losing snaps to Ricky. Maybe a little bit, maybe here and there. They do like Ricky. But yeah, if you guys want to check this app Outlier out, just go through the link in the description. You don't need to put a code in. They're also a partner of ours, so they're just giving all of our viewers 7 days to try it out, see how you like it. And they cover matchups, injury reports, insights about the players. So definitely take advantage of that. And if nothing else, use it for a week. Use it for week 2. See how you like it. Cool. All right, Jordy, I'm going to pass it over, bro.
All right. Yeah, man. So to get into my plays here, I promise you guys I got you back this time. Feel bad mine were the ones that busted the 6-man today, because we could have hit that one, but it's all good. I feel like too, we're just kind of getting in the groove too. It's like week 1, you just you learn like what's going on with a lot of teams, and like now I know I definitely cannot trust Arthur Smith. So we already kind of knew that, but I should have definitely known that already. But anyway, let's talk Mike Williams here. I like Mike Williams a lot for over 2.5 receptions. I think he's going to be like the wide receiver 2 on the team. If not like the wide receiver 3, but I think there's going to be plenty of love to go around for these guys. It's a great matchup for him too. Honestly, I don't know how much of the work of the Niners defense has gone into the secondary, but last year their secondary was pretty bad. Receptions allowed, they were 28th. So we'll see how they are this year, but I really like this matchup for Mike Williams. He's a really big dude, and Aaron Rodgers is throwing him the ball now. Fingers crossed nothing happens, but I'm not even going to start that. But I think he'll definitely get, like I think that he could definitely be matching these numbers, like 63% of the passing plays. I think he'll be involved that much at least. So 3 catches. I think this is kind of crazy. I guess we'll see how the game script goes, but Rodgers is going to be slinging it, dude. So I think he can hit this no problem. If we look at this on Daily Grind, it is a 52.25% chance and a minus 131 to go over. Honestly, I expect him to go for like 4 or 5. So if this goes up to 3, which I think it will by tomorrow, I would take it at 3 still, to be honest. You just have a higher chance of a push, but the 2.5 is such a sweet deal. So definitely try to lock that in tonight. Gonna be taking that one over. And then Brandon Ayuk, so this 49 line just seems super duper low. I mean, he went over this in 13 out of 19 games last year. He just got paid. He's definitely going to be a big part of the game plan. Now, the Jets do have amazing DBs. Like their secondary is, really, really good. They were number 1 and yards allowed last year to wide receivers, only giving up 100 a game, which is very crazy. So I think he'll get over this line though. He's such a special weapon. Like the run after catch with this guy is, a big problem for people, and his ability to catch the ball in, contested windows is amazing. So obviously, Ricky got shot. It's just it's crazy just saying that, I think, is why I keep chuckling, because it's horrible. I mean, it's the worst thing ever. But I think we just are back in the same situation we were last year. You got Jawan Jennings coming in as the number 3. I don't think Jawan Jennings is like a 2 reception kind of guy. So they feed their guys, but these guys are going to get a bulk of the work. So I see him having a huge game tomorrow. Definitely at least getting 50 yards, in my opinion. Some of these random games, like the Rams defense is highly underrated. I think we kind of saw that tonight. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it'll be fun. I expect him to fully go over this line. This line is juiced just barely to go over at minus 117. The receptions over 4 are juiced a little bit higher. You can take whatever one you want. But I think the receiving yards are always a little bit more enticing with him, because we do run into situations like this where he's only getting 3 receptions sometimes, but he's absolutely crushing his receiving line on those 3 receptions. So it just kind of depends. Like Purdy's just kind of rides the hot hand sometimes, and gets the right guy the ball when he's on fire. So I think Ayuk's definitely going to be involved more. They just gave him a massive deal, and their chemistry looked really good last year. So fully expecting Ayuk to hit this line. If you guys want to go check out Chalkboard, it's a lot of fun. Today I kind of just played like underdog and Prize Picks. I kind of stayed off of like all the other platforms, because I was guilty of the first game of the year just going way too crazy on every app. So I wanted to kind of slow myself down today. But it is way too much fun over there. It really is. You can make so many different alt lines. Like it shows right here on Outlier how you can take all these alt lines. This is kind of what it looks like over there on Chalkboard. So if you're like Brandon Ayuk's going to go over 49.5, no problem. You could bump them up to like 59 or 69.5 right here, and obviously it's going to be a little bit harder to hit, but you're going to get a way higher multiplier on it. So rather than like getting the regular line at 59.5, you can take it up to like 79 or 69.5 and get like a 2 or a 3.5x on it sometimes. So a lot of fun over there. They run like 6 specials a day. If you sign up using code Backdoor, they'll match your first deposit up to $100, and they'll also give you a free play to help you cash your first slip. So to go take advantage of that deal, it's definitely worth checking them out. And yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I'll pass it back to Russo.
Cool. Yeah, and I got one more. If for some reason, if tomorrow, if Mike Williams is bumped up to 3 and you're not comfortable with it, which I'm still comfortable with that, but I also liked his fantasy score here, because he's just like a big bodied like wide receiver, great contested catch guy, but he's kind of a pretty steady end zone target when he's on different teams. This is from a while ago, but you can see he does well as far as like just fantasy score, because if you're getting a full point per reception and he does get those 3 receptions, you have 3 points. He probably got like at least 8 to 10 yards. So you're almost at 6 points right there. If he happens to get a touchdown, this is cashed automatically, because the touchdown is worth 6, the reception is worth 1, so you're at 7 already, but he's going to have a little bit of yards in there. So if you are looking for a pivot by the time you watch this before the game, I also like that Mike Williams. And I totally agree with you about Brandon Ayuk with the receiving yards over the receptions, because he's such a good blocker, but then a lot of times he can just break out at, like, a lot of his targets tend to be a little bit further downfield. So that's another perfect example of a guy who could hit that line on like 2 receptions when you don't, like it's always a bummer if it's like, okay, he went for 3 receptions for 65 yards. He cashed his yards, but he didn't cash the receptions. So whichever of those you like, I on that case, that's a perfect example of taking the yards over the receptions. But anyways, guys, if you want to come check out our Discord, we have a full community over here. We have another analyst, Moose, who's dropping plays. He's like, it's fun because Moose is always like, his radar is always on these different sort of like, I don't want to say auxiliary style plays, but he looks for like weird types of plays that tend to do well. You can follow him on X. You can follow all of us. All of our handles are in the description of the video, but we post plays on X as well. But yeah, if you want to join our Discord, just go through the Patreon link, and then once you're in Patreon, you just if you sign up through Patreon, you just go up to the connected app section in their settings, and you just connect your Discord, and then you can come join us in Discord. And if you do, make sure you hop in the community chat. Let us know you're new, so we can show you around and make sure you understand how to use it, get the most out of it this football season. But yeah, make sure you're subscribed if you're not yet, because we're going to be covering every single slate. And when basketball comes, it's just going to be nonstop picks videos every day, pretty much. So yeah, if you guys appreciate our show, give us a like on the way out. And good luck tomorrow, guys. We will see you for the next slate.
Good luck, guys.